You were telling Michelle, you were telling me, or something, just saying like how media is the greatest weapon. Where were you going to go with that?
I mean, it's just propaganda. Like, it can really.
What do you mean by propaganda?
Like, you can shape an entire people's perception about anything on how you do it, right? Like,
How do you do that?
just by like forcing the story, to help like your platform. You know, like you can all of a sudden say like coal is the future of like energy. Well, that could be propaganda because like who owns the company might have stake in like coal mining. Who owns the company might have stake in like coal mining.
Have something they must do. They must be profitable. They can't stay in business. And they know something about this 2-million-year-old brain. It responds to pain and fear faster than anything else. That's why there's a phrase in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Some of you probably heard Project Veritas, where they interviewed the guy from CNN, and he's talking about how they weren't getting enough viewership, so they kept putting the death rate up.
Which is why we constantly have the death toll on the side. Let's make it higher. Like, why isn't it high enough, today? And then we get a phone call, like the bat phone, like rings in the back.
Head of CNN calling it up and saying this, and then saying people are now getting used to COVID. It's getting better. So our next thing, and he says it right on camera, a girl he's on a date with, he thinks, it's got a hidden camera. Our next thing is going to be global warming, because that one, we can ride that one forever and scare the hell out of everybody.
So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness. Climate change is going to be the next COVID thing for CNN. We're going to hone it on.
I mean, blatantly talking about what they're doing.
Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of like fear, like climate?
Yeah, fear sells.
If it bleeds, it leads. Yeah.
If it bleeds, it leads.
COVID, gangbusters of ratings, right? Which is why we constantly have the death toll on the side.
No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
The numbers simply don't lie, and the new coronavirus numbers are getting worse at a bad time.
We need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic life.
Fear. Like, fear really drives numbers. Fear is the thing that keeps you tuned in.
Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms.
Chester saying that CNN has a game plan to fix that fatigue.
I think there's just like a COVID fatigue. So like whenever a new story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced inner office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate, climate like global warming, and like that's going to be our next like. I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Like our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of like decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy and really
Who
diving into
decides that?
the head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. I imagine that he's got his council and they've all like discussed like where they think
So that's like the next.
pandemic like story like that will be to death. But that one's got longevity. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a definitive ending to the pandemic, or like it'll taper off to a point that it's not a problem anymore. I think it's going to take years, so they'll probably be able to milk that for quite a bit.
So climate change overload. Yeah.
Be prepared. It's coming. Stories, like right now, we had an inside track right now where 2 stories are going to be pushed. Climate change is going to be the next COVID thing for CNN. We're gonna hone in.
Focus on that.
I love it.
But that's a fair thing to focus on.
But to commit to that as a network,
You said it's going to be like the new COVID.
I feel like, well, that's the way it was built. Unless that was just a call to arms to get people to start writing and then we'll assess it. I don't know.
Jeff Zucker, I think you need to change your motto, the most trusted name in news. Your own employees, your own director is on tape actually telling the American people what we all believe to be true.
They just know how to get your attention, right? We're no longer an information society. That one died a long time ago. There's too much information. We're drowning in information. We're starving for wisdom. And you and I can find wisdom in people that have done practical things. That's why we have this beautiful community of people that are doing this and providing it and giving answers for people that they can really use in areas of life that really matter. But you got to see it as but not worse than it is.